Hey folks, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 2022. Today, a new bundle just dropped in the store. Well, I say today, I mean yesterday. A new bundle dropped in the store for Warzone 2.0 and Modern Warfare 2, and it's probably the best priced bundle we have had so far. So stay tuned to find out what that is, because we're going to be talking about that today. But before we go any further, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, make sure that you hit the subscribe button if you want to stay up to date on Call of Duty content and also other additional things to do with Call of Duty, because I will be doing that since I've been taking a liking to this game. But let's jump right into things. So, in the store the other day, if we go down here, we have found in the blueprint section a new bundle that has popped up, and that is the Plum Joy bundle with 4 items within it for 500 COD points. That's right, you heard me right, 500 COD points. Now, we know that Activision likes to price their bundles in Call of Duty especially at quite a high price, and if we want to translate this over to, well, in British pounds, 500 COD points is currently £4.39, or it would be somewhere around $5 or $6, I believe, in the US. But 500 COD points for a bundle in this game is extremely cheap, even though it's probably not when you compare it to other games. But this is probably the best value bundle we have had yet, and I'm going to show you why. So let's jump into things with the Plum Joy bundle. Now, here we have it. On the bundle details, we've got For the Love of Plums. Now, the first item we get in the Plum Joy bundle is the Kastov 7.62 blueprint, the Noir, for the, of course, Kastov 7.62 assault rifle. And this, well, pretty much gives it. If we take a look at the preview, we get some attachments from Sakin Arms, FSS, and X10. And you'll see here that the main theme is to give this AK the plum finish that it typically has in real life on some Kalashnikov models. And you'll see the very slight plum finish on the magazine, the handguard, the stock attachment, and the a bit on the receiver there. But we'll talk more about the gun when we actually buy this bundle, but that is the blueprint there, and of course it's apparently pro-tuned, quote-unquote, for balance, with aim down sight speed, a precision sight picture, and aiming idle stability. So that's that there. Now, the other items in this bundle are the Take the Shot loading screen. It's probably one of the better loading screens that we've had in sort of these bundles, and what I presume what this is some form of SAS specialist, or some form of British armed police, probably in London with don't quote me on this, but I believe it's maybe Big Ben and the Tower of London in the background there, with firing a pistol with a pink tracer. So that's pretty cool right there. Additionally, with this we also get 2 emblems. The first emblem that we get is the Mr. and Mrs. Royalty emblem, which is obviously here. I'm not sure where the name comes from with this, but you know, it's an emblem either way. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. I'm not personally a big fan of it, but you may be. Now, the second emblem we get is the Plum Joy emblem. I actually prefer this emblem a lot more. It reminds me more of the sort of traditional Call of Duty emblems, but that is that there. But without further ado, let's purchase this bundle and get into the Noir blueprint, which I'm sure is what you're all here for. So let's confirm and purchase. Luckily enough, we've got 500 COD points left to spend on this, and then we'll probably need to obtain a bit more if we get any more bundles that we want in the future. That is Take the Shot. It's a shame I can't go into sort of full screen, but yeah, no, there we have it, Take the Shot. Now let's actually get over to weapons and let's talk about this Kastov 762 blueprint, which is actually the first one I'm obtaining. Now, the Noir blueprint, we have all 5 attachments decked out, so this is actually pretty decent for what you're getting with the price. A lot of these weapons that you get in these bundles only have 3 or 4 attachments, so it's nice to actually have something with 5. Now, the first few details that I actually want to mention about this, which you may not have noticed already, before we go any further, and it's personally why I wanted to get this bundle, is obviously the first and foremost is the plum finish on the weapon, which is quite notorious on, well, I say notorious, it's featured on the furnishing of some Kalashnikov weapons in the real world. Now, the second part, before we go any further, if we actually take off the optic, I will go back and put the optic on, but if we take off the optic here and quickly look at the weapon, you'll notice that it actually replaces the standard smooth receiver dust cover with a more ribbed style one, which is more traditional of older Kalashnikov weapons. So, if we briefly talk about, for the real world people who want to know this, the Kastov 762 in-game, which is the AK-103, this blueprint converts it into an AK-104 with the shortened barrel here, that being the 342mm second KL barrel. Now, obviously we can't tune any attachments on this weapon, which is a shame, so we don't actually know what the tunes are or if they provide anything better than manually tuning this. However, I'd always manually tune weapons, it's usually the better shout. But let's go over the attachment briefly, and then we'll hop into the firing range and quickly do a weapon inspection and see how the recoil handles up. So first off, we'll start with the barrel, the Sakin Arms 342mm Sakin KL barrel. Pardon my voice break there. Obviously, as we can see, it doesn't want to cooperate, but compared to the default receiver, we won't get this Sakin Arms kind of logo on the weapon, and we won't get this sort of dark purple plum look that we'll get on this compared to the standard steel black that we'll get on the normal receiver there, or barrel, sorry. Now, in terms of the foregrip, we get the FSS OPX9 foregrip, which obviously, of course, has the Noir texture on it there. And compared to the default one, there isn't a lot of changes, but it does seem to be a bit more higher quality in terms of the definition on sort of the stipple grip on the grip there, so that's quite nice to have. Now, when it comes down to the optic, we get the SZ-SR07 optic from X10, and there isn't really much difference actually when it comes down to this from the default one, bar from the fact that we don't get that sort of logo on the side, etc. with it. So there isn't really too much of a difference there, but it's still nice to have that extra skin for the optic if need be. For the stock, we get from Sakin Arms the Markiv R7 stock, and yet again, I can't show the default one because it doesn't want to show up, but it's pretty much not much change in terms of appearance, but we get the Sakin Arms logo there on the side, and we also once again get that plum purple finish there, so that's of course pretty nice to have. And of course down here, finally, we get the Sakin Arms True Tack grip here, which completely changes it from the default. Essentially, it replaces this grip, and instead of giving it the just straight up black look, we get the Sakin Arms sort of logo and branding there, but it also changes the texture to be more of a sort of polymer, more wood looking grip, which is quite nice in my opinion. I'd probably use this over the default. Now, with all that in mind, these are all the attachments. You can see in the bottom left that no changes have been made to the amount of rounds that we have in the magazine there. And you can see that it has a slight knock-on effect with damage. We lose a bit of that, but I believe that's probably the damage range from the barrel size reduction, or length reduction, sorry. But we get an improvement to accuracy and handling, and I'd assume that is a combination of presumably the foregrip, the stock, and of course the actual pistol grip here. So let's hop into the firing range real quick. Now, this is the weapon itself. There is very poor lighting in the firing range, so I don't really like it. As we can see here, if we inspect the weapon, we can sort of see that plum finish on the receiver, or the barrel there, and just briefly on the stock, and of course the magazine over here. And we can see that ribbed dust cover just underneath the Picatinny rail on the receiver itself. If we aim down sights, the optics haven't changed much. I don't personally use these optics, but they seem to be pretty good. We'll fire it and test it against these training dummies here, and then we'll see what its recoil pattern is like on the door to the left. So the recoil pattern, without managing it, is fairly decent from close to mid-range. However, long range you are going to struggle due to that barrel length reduction. So let's take a look at the firing patterns on the door. So I probably shouldn't have done that, but as we can see, we get quite a drastic up and to the right recoil pattern there, which can obviously can be quite hard to control, but we don't get much horizontal recoil, which is also quite nice. So we'll try that again, and then we will control the recoil. So as you can see, yet again, quite a harsh off to the right there. We're going to attempt to control the recoil this time. Didn't do a very good at controlling it there, but the recoil was actually quite a big kick on this, as there isn't actually many attachments which are helping with recoil control, which is the only downside with this weapon. Now, as you can see, controlling the recoil and understanding its recoil pattern going off to the right, we can make this grouping a lot more closer, and actually a lot more accurate than before. But nonetheless, that's the recoil pattern, and that is the Noir blueprint itself. We'll do a quick final weapon preview, just swinging the thing around. But for 500 COD points to get a weapon blueprint like this, with 5 attachments and various other things included, is very nice, especially in COD. So if you did enjoy this video, and you found this video a bit informative, then make sure to leave a like. And if you think you're going to pick up this bundle, or if you have already, make sure to leave a comment and tell me, and hit subscribe yet again if you want more videos like this on the channel. But other than that, I hope you all have a lovely day, and I'll see you all in the next one.